Hey, wayward soul. You remember me, right? The punk? It's been a while, huh? And I've just been drifting this whole time. I've made good progress with working on my darkness. Thought I'd be a little deserving of a shape-shifting. I think this look reflects me a little better now. The old look. Sometimes you just don't realize how long it's been till something or someone comes along to break your routine. Anyway, it may not look like it now, but exploring these vast stars has become much easier for me. I would always scope out areas with my third eye, back and forth, debating on exploring or not. Relying solely on sight isn't always enough. There's more to be had by leaving your comfort zone with your other senses. Comfort zones are necessary for periods of growth, or even to preserve what's left of you through a difficult time. Say, have you ever heard of Phoenix Wright? It wouldn't be too far-fetched to say he's a phenomenal lawyer. He's saved many innocent lives from a guilty verdict and the dooming punishment that awaits them beyond. But there was a time when that power was stripped from him, making him into a much different person in the process. He went from being a serious lawyer to a relaxed everyday guy. Donning his hoodie and beanie and becoming almost as rambunctious as the witnesses he dealt with on a daily basis. What caused this? Well, his innate desire to prove his client innocent led him into a trap of falsified evidence provided to him with suspicious convenience. Such an offense to the courtroom resulted in the confiscation of his attorney's badge. While the situation might have been disastrous, he was not left out to dry. From the sudden turn of events of this case, a talented magician prodigy was abandoned. He felt it right to adopt her. In the care of Wright, this girl, Trucy, could continue performing as a magician, and Phoenix had a source of income to keep his law office open. His sense of justice would not allow him to let this case go, and I saw his change in appearance as a vital cloak that allowed him to continue his pursuit of the truth. 7 long years of playing piano, drinking grape juice, struggling to make ends meet. A necessary routine to stay a little stable, and a different look to not be perceived as a truth-seeking man of the law. For a long-term goal, we can set our sights on an endpoint, but what becomes of us in the process? We can lose ourselves if we charge in with the mindset we came in with. Change of circumstances requires a change of self. While playing piano became Wright's placeholder career, his real talent was as a professional poker player. He never lost a game of poker in 7 years. What was his secret? That would be the power of observation. Even the best of poker faces can't hide everything. Beyond face value is a myriad of tells and secrets. Understanding those tells, knowing when and how to react, is the key to getting that deeper knowing of another's psyche. What someone brings attention to, and what they don't bring attention to, forms a network that pieces together the core of who they are on the inside. Read between the lines enough, and with enough info, you can even figure out their pasts or futures. But let's put the cards down for a second. Just what did piano playing Phoenix Wright use this skill for? Well, for one, he learned just how bad he was at the piano. and how grueling of a job it was. Seeing the audience unappeased by your playing can't be very fun to witness on a regular basis. But he was also alerted to the strange actions of a good friend of his. The desire to find the truth led him to discover this friend of his was not truly a friend and acting on self-serving motives. Who was he? Christoph Gavin, an esteemed defense attorney, dressed to impress and dignified to a T. But underneath that composure lies a consistent attitude, one that wishes to maintain his image, cares very little for anyone who threatens that. Do you know what slippery roads that leads to in the land of the law? Snuffing out those who know too much, and how contradictory that is to the role of a defense attorney. That kind of malice should be laid bare for all to see. Christoph Gavin was then brought to justice by Phoenix Wright and Gavin's apprentice, Apollo Justice. What a relief, right? Well, not always. Most of us are just regular people, not involved with the law. Many people around us won't be so susceptible to the truth, nor will they always be so eager to take action. Our observations are our vital key to self-preservation, as well as assisting others we trust. We attain the awareness to act accordingly as a result. As Phoenix Wright was no longer a lawyer, he had no issue using falsified evidence in this case. He had it delivered to Apollo, knowing that the only one who could prove it was false would have to incriminate himself by presenting the real evidence, the checkmate at its finest. But again, such dirty tactics won't always be necessary. Should push come to shove, you can always keep the idea in your back pocket. I found myself in positions where I needed to do such things, but only recently had I started actually putting it into practice. Some of my harder years were in a high school of ego, drama, and cruelty thriving over all else. Noise, negativity, and anything that could save one of my peers from boredom plagued my surroundings every day. The adults who worked there found every attempt at control to be meaningless. And while I had already lost my respect for authority figures, I tried my best to respect them as people. Because amidst all that chaos, I could see that everyone acted out from their own miseries and needs, one way or another. Sadly, nothing could be done about it. I wanted no part in harmonizing with such chaos, so I kept the real me hidden, almost taking on the lax appearance of Phoenix Wright. But it wasn't just the appearance. I was numbing out all those unpleasantries with constant daydreaming, pretending all these things didn't bother me. I longed to be where my real self could thrive again, not in this dreadful place. It wasn't all bad though. A handful of friends, who most likely felt the same way, paved the road to making the most of a bad situation. After 7 years, Phoenix Wright rejoined the law, back and better than ever, but I'm sure he had a bit of trouble shedding his old self. That kind of mask doesn't go away so easily, unless you make the conscious choice to. We don't get to see that process so easily, unless we go through it ourselves. We reach a new chapter of our lives, and we find our self-preserving nature is no longer necessary, but it sticks like a bad habit, and we are hard-pressed to change overnight. I had much trouble adjusting after those 4 years, playing everything so safe to a time-wasting degree, but the baggage that weighed me down was nothing to sneeze at. With enough time to process, and staying self-aware on what we need to let go of, that part of us that we preserved will soon be ready to emerge again. And hey, Would you look at that? We drifted to the wall. Follow my lead. Get ready to jump off. What? The wall's shattered now? Hey everyone, Zuki here. Thanks if you stuck around to watch the whole video. Links to my Patreon are in the description below. If you'd like to see more of this series, please consider supporting me there. And be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe as well. I hope to see you soon.